This is the battle of two of the most popular mid-range phones today, the Google Pixel 7a and the Samsung Galaxy A54. Who will win? Let's find out. Let's start with color profile and saturation, and Pixel 7a is closer to real life compared to Samsung Galaxy A54. Also, you will see that the contrast is better on the new mid-range Google phone as it balances out the colors on every direction. It's the HDR that's kicking in, the computational photography of Google. On some shots, it tends to be warmer too than Samsung Galaxy A54. While the new Samsung mid-range feels like the colors you would see on Samsung phones, it's vivid, lively, and Instagram ready for people who always edit their photos to look really good on social media. Samsung Galaxy A54 will suit you well. Also, the image is brighter and sometimes will clip the highlights. It's a tad brighter than Pixel 7a. Checking all sensors, I feel like the ultra-wide lens of Galaxy A54 is inferior compared to Pixel 7a. We will test this more as we proceed to this comparison, but looking at the main sensor and digital crop, both phones are pretty consistent. It is a personal choice. The Pixel camera app has always been easy to use, the UI is simple, and so if you want to change the colors and contrast of the photo, you have to do it manually. While the Samsung Galaxy A54 has 12 image filters to choose from, and this is helpful if you want to change the mood of your photos. And this is unique for Pixel 7a, the speech enhancement. It's good for windy or noisy environment. Let's check the rear camera 4K 30fps, and the stabilization of Pixel 7a looks like the one you would see on a flagship phone. Actually, I feel like Pixel 7a is a flagship phone. While Samsung Galaxy A54 is shaky, a bit over-sharpened as well, definitely on the video side, you will see the edge of Pixel 7a over the mid-range Galaxy A54. Next is flaring, and both of them handle it pretty well, but if you nitpick on this comparison, you will see a little bit of flaring on Galaxy A54. Also, another aspect of brightness is highlight, and the HDR look of Pixel 7a is really good, while Galaxy A54 tends to clip the highlights more. Let's go down to 1080p, and this is the active stabilization of Pixel 7a. And this is the counterpart of Samsung Galaxy A54, the Super Steady. What I like about these two phones are the build quality and design. They have the flagship Google Pixel and the Samsung S series, and they're both glass front and back. Let's talk about the advantage quickly. The Samsung Galaxy A54 has a better screen, while Google Pixel 7a has Tensor Gen 2, which is a flagship processor of Google Pixel. Let's check the noise reduction of both phones, and I would say two things. Pixel 7a exposes the scenery better and also reduces the noise better, while Galaxy A54 on a normal shot will give you darker and noisier image. Next is close focus, and this is where Galaxy A54 shines. It is a dedicated macro sensor. If we check the white balance, Pixel 7a has warmer white balance, while Galaxy A54 has cooler white balance. And in terms of dynamic range and contrast, Pixel 7a manages most scenarios better than Samsung Galaxy A54. On this image where it's darker, Galaxy A54 feels like having a filter, while on a bright sunny day, some images are washed out on Galaxy A54. We will check the stabilization of all sensors from ultra-wide to the 2x digital crop, and we will see how the transition would look like. On both ultra-wide and main sensor, I think Pixel 7a is better in stabilization. This is the slow motion test, or 1/4. And this is the super slow motion 1/8. Checking the sharpness, starting with the ultra-wide lens, we will see again that ultra-wide lens of Galaxy A54 is inferior than Pixel 7a. Looking at the main sensor, almost the same sharpness, only a difference in brightness. And looking at the digital zoom, although Pixel 7a only has 8x digital crop and Samsung Galaxy A54 has 10x, if we zoom in and get the same size, you will see that Pixel 7a is still sharper than Galaxy A54. In terms of details, if you blew this up on a bigger screen, there's not much of a difference between the two. This is a tie for me. Next is the selfie camera, and one good thing about Pixel 7a is it now gets the 30fps 4K, and even the footage are really stable. Colors and contrast are great, similarly looking as the Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro. Well, for Samsung Galaxy A54, if you see the intro in the beginning, it was taken on a selfie camera and the footage is super shaky. I suggest you buy a gimbal if you will buy this phone. Checking the portrait mode, you will see that Galaxy A54 will give you a wider field of view compared to the more punched-in Pixel 7a. I like the skin tone and contrast of Pixel 7a. Also the details on my face, Galaxy A54 will smoothen and brightens the skin tone a little bit more. Checking the subject separation, I think Galaxy A54 is a little bit better than Pixel 7a, but in terms of bokeh, Pixel 7a will create more bokeh balls compared to the blur background of Galaxy A54. Checking the selfie camera, it's the same tendencies. Pixel 7a has more details, while Galaxy A54 has better subject separation or cutout. Night shot is a little tricky for this comparison as you would thought that the Pixel 7a will produce a better night shot. Let's start with Pixel 7a. It is brighter than Galaxy A54, so in first look you would think that Pixel 7a is better. But if you pixel peep and zoom in, you will notice that although the Galaxy A54 is noisier, it produces a more detailed photo, it also manages the highlights better, and exposes the darker areas better. Evidently sharper than Pixel 7a, so it's up to you to decide if you wanted a brighter or more detailed night shots. I guess the deal breaker for Galaxy A54 is again the ultra-wide lens, as it produces a more inferior image even on night shots. This is the selfie video recording 4K 30 FPS in low light condition, and I like the contrast and color of Pixel 7a. The purple tint of Galaxy A54 looks cheap. And this is the rear cameras of both phones. I think the takeaway for this video test is the autofocus of the main sensor. Pixel 7a had a hard time autofocusing on the car. I also noticed that Galaxy A54 has less noise than Pixel 7a. And lastly, versatility. Both has main, ultra-wide, and 2x digital crop, but only Galaxy A54 has a dedicated macro sensor. So this is the ultimate shootout of Pixel 7a versus Samsung Galaxy A54. Two great mid-range phones from Google and Samsung, and although there's so much discussion on this comparison, this is closer than you think. Let's do a recap. The new Pixel 7a has natural-looking colors, speech enhancement, better stabilization on video, manages the flaring better, manages the highlights better, better noise reduction, better exposure, warmer white balance, sharper digital zoom, brighter night shots, and better selfie video. While the new Samsung Galaxy A54 has more saturated, more image filters to choose from, has macro capability, cooler white balance, better slow motion, better subject separation on portrait, more detailed night shots, and better autofocus on low light video. I feel like Pixel 7 is better video recording capability and speech enhancement, but the two of the most important thing on a smartphone, which is portrait and night shot, goes a little bit to Galaxy A54 because of the cutout and subject separation and more detailed low light images. I think overall, Pixel 7a might be a better choice, but I guess I will throw back the question, who do you think is better, Pixel 7a or Galaxy A54? And there you go, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to compare these two phones in our channel, maybe the battery and the speed test next, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.